missed or picked up too late. Research has shown that detecting illnesses early can save 20% on treatment costs and lost production. This is what Protag does. It constantly monitors an animal's health to detect illnesses before they develop into costly problems. Cows are monitored with a small solar-powered tag costing around $20, equipped with movement sensors and a GPS. It's these behaviors that are then sent to Azure over LoRaWAN. The data passes through IoT Hub to time series insights where machine learning and anomaly detection predict the health of the animal. BVD costs the industry hundreds of millions every year, but Protag can monitor an entire herd 24/7, detecting these changes. When an issue is found, notifications alert the farmer, who can then use a web app to see their herd in real time within a digital twin of their farm. GPS tracking is one of the unique features of our product that adds a rich stream of data, helping identify a wide range of illnesses. Its use, along with long-range communications on a small, low-cost device, are the significant points of difference between us and existing products. Keeping cows healthy means a farmer can produce more output with fewer resources. This is important as livestock farming has the largest carbon footprint of all food production methods, and demand continues to increase. Protag will not only save farmers money and increase animal welfare, it will also reduce the environmental impact of the industry.
Very impressive, Protag. Inhao, what questions do you have for Protag?
Amazing job, guys. I loved especially the validation you guys did around talking to the veterinarians and talking to the farmers, and the fact that you guys have already 30 farms lined up to go to market. How are you guys thinking about, if you win this, taking the money and also the next step of taking your product further to market?
Due to the publicity of the competition already, we've gained quite a lot of traction. We're starting to work with a number of partners in New Zealand to start getting this product to market. But given the opportunity to go further, we're going to be able to develop the machine learning models. We're going to be able to validate all of the market requirements for how we then go to market, and we're just going to get a real big head start, really.
Great work and so cool to see. Thank you, Team Protag. Up next in education is Hands-On Labs.
I'm Mukle.
And I'm Ahmed.
And we are
Hands-On Labs.
Oh, wait.
We both live in San Francisco. We both studied Minerva schools at KGI, and
we just got married. We were in lockdown in Buenos Aires. That's how we came up with the idea of this project. We figured out that you can't do some practical aspects online.
So Hands-On Labs is a set of remote labs that allows students to practically experiment with real lab equipment. Our mentor, Eric, has been giving us both technical and presentation, and even we touched on career advice.
We're supported by people that are helping us to improve our project further.
Hands-On Labs, your time starts now.
4 years ago, I traveled to the United States to do STEM research because I couldn't visit any lab as a woman in a developing country.
I dropped out of engineering college in Egypt because I didn't have tools to practice my theoretical knowledge.
We knew there were millions of students around the world who lacked this basic educational experience. For example, students with physical disabilities, minorities, and those who study online degrees. But what if we told you that Hands-On Labs brings labs to the fingertips of every single student in the world? Hands-On Labs is a set of remote labs that allow students to access physical online labs such as robotics, electronics, and many more. Students can use the labs from anywhere at any time to test their skills, get visual feedback, and have real-time collaborative hands-on experience through our online platform by interacting with physical hardware, either through their code or direct controls.
Students are collaboratively exploring kinematics and shortcomings of simulation. The current hardware includes a robotic arm and a live 360 degrees view of the equipment. Azure IoT, live streaming, and app services orchestrate the lab, enabling every student a two-way communication with our hardware, making experiential learning possible for everyone. We charge schools per hour of usage, which would cost 1/10 of the price of running a physical lab. Plus, students do not have to pay a single penny.
If we win the Imagine Cup, we will reach more than 1.5 million students just like us from all over the world. If students cannot go to labs, we will bring the labs to them.
Great job! Wow, blown away by each of these so far. Tony, your question for Hands-On Labs.
I too am blown away by the closing of the digital divide that I can see as the outcome of the work that you've done. I just want to thank you for reaching over that chasm that exists across many, particularly in the developing world. Tactile learners still often struggle in a remote environment. Do you see the opportunity to scale into some form of hybrid learning experience where a HoloLens or some form of mixed reality device is embedded in the way that you build the educational experience?
Absolutely. As we said earlier, I come originally from Egypt and I tried to study engineering there, and it was very challenging because the labs are overcrowded. There are equipment, but it's overcrowded. What we did is, like, all the designs we made, we made it open source. So we allow any student to access our design, download it, and do it themselves. So what we can do is we can bring the equipment of the institution that are already there hanging unused properly and bring it online so that everyone can access it.
Fantastic job, hands-on labs. Up next in the health category is Team Rueba.
My name is Hamid Ali.
This is Amit Karanya.
My name is Jit Gohil.
My name is Kushi Gupta.
We are from Nairobi, Kenya, and we are Team
Rueba. We go to United States International University, Africa.
Nairobi is one of the biggest cities in Africa.
The wildlife is extraordinary.
We've been friends for long. We know each other well.
The team is formed of people who are willing to make this solution come to life.
Our project aims to bring down the rate of infant mortality.
We've been taking into consideration the judges' opinions, and we've been trying to integrate all their comments.
I think it's a complete transformation.
We have faith that our solution is solving a real problem.
We are here for the challenge.
Okay, Rueba, your time begins now.
It is heartbreaking to even imagine how millions of mothers in Africa travel long distances for the well-being of their children. Can you imagine? In 2019, 5.2 million infants under the age of 5 died mostly because of preventable causes, out of which Africa has the highest number, highlighting the gaps in healthcare services. Rueba is the only remote healthcare solution that provides regular growth monitoring for infants from the comfort of the home, while also getting direct access to the doctor for immediate intervention. Vital measurements such as the weight is taken. Next, the system analyzes the measurements to identify health and growth concerns. Part of the analysis makes use of artificial intelligence trained using images of different skin tones for inclusiveness and classifies common skin conditions such as chickenpox and eczema. On the webpage, alerts are issued and reports are displayed for the doctor to intervene immediately. Azure is critical for the success of our project. Some of the services used in implementing our system include IoT Hub and Custom Vision, among others. Users can get their hands on Rueba through our partners or purchase and share it as a community due to its portable nature. There is a minimum subscription fee borne by the mother. On average, in Kenya, a mother spends $60 for the first 6 mandatory visits after birth. Rueba provides cheap, accurate, and efficient growth monitoring with 50% of cost reduction. In the future, we will make further improvements and then collaborate with our partner hospitals to distribute 100 devices to Machakos, a rural area in Kenya.
Fantastic job, Rueba. That's really powerful stuff. So, Jocelyn, what questions do you have for Team Rueba?
I was very, very impressed with your use of IoT technology to really create a preventative healthcare solution. My question for you, I am just so curious and would love to learn more about, or have you all give us a little bit more insight on the testing of your product, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. I can imagine that had to be a challenge.
So for our product, we had to go through clinical trials. So we have already put in like a permission so that we can try it on babies. But we have talked through public health professionals on how we can better our product or how it's going to serve the market more. And we've also tested it on a few babies that were around us, like babies of our house that come from rural areas.
Awesome. I am loving all of this innovation, and thank you, Team Rueba. Now it's time for our final category, Lifestyle and Team 3OTech.
My name is Flum.
My name is Tiger.
My name is Fong. And we are Team 3OTech. We study at the same university in Bangkok, Thailand.
We are close friends, so we're very familiar with working together.
Tiger is in the front end side. I'm in the back end side. and Pong is for the animation side. Joining these competitions like a dream. Our mentor gives useful suggestions that we haven't thought about before. We would like to thank every Microsoft staff and mentors who helped us throughout our journey. We didn't expect to come this far at all, so we are already grateful to be here.
All right, 3OTech, your time starts now.
Imagine watching our videos on YouTube without any audio. How do you feel when you watch videos and understand nothing at all? This is a global problem faced by 400,000 hearing impaired people in Thailand and over 400 million hearing impaired people around the world. Why couldn't they read the closed caption? It turns out that most hearing impaired people lack reading skills as sign language is their only native language. This is why we developed Just Size, the first virtual sign language interpreter which can generate sign language caption. First, fill in a link to their YouTube video and let our system retrieve the video transcript. Second, edit the video transcript and preview the animation generated in real time. Third, publish and get a direct link. We can retrieve user-generated caption from YouTube or generate automatically using cognitive service. The animation data are processed from sign language videos using two open-source deep learning algorithms. Our solution is very extensible as it can be applied to other languages easily. We charge only 19 cents per video minute for people who want to use our web application. YouTubers may choose our Pro package for more features. Lastly, Premium package may suit the television broadcast channel. We believe that our solution can radically transform the way hearing impaired people live, work, and play. Thank you.
Wow, so impressive. I'm learning a ton today. I don't know about y'all. All right, we are back over to you, Tony. What is your question for 3OTech?
I am dumbfounded by that accessibility solution, how beautifully it was architected. I love your flow. Thank you so much for that. I think I saw at the end of the presentation that your scale, your expectation at the end of this calendar year would be to go to move into American Sign Language. I think all of us are interested in how would this scale to other languages? How easy is it to scale to other languages, and what do you see as your roadmap for getting there?
So our engine is easily to scale and expand to other language. We only need the sample sentence for the sentence in that language and the sign language video, so we can create the animations and to create the grammar algorithm to change from that language to the sign language of that. And we plan to expand to the American Sign Language in the next one. And for the further one, we plan to expand the Chinese Sign Language to greater more customer base.
Great job, 3OTech. Well, we have reached the end of our competition, and I am just blown away by the innovation and creativity of our finalists.
Holy wow, I cannot agree more, Donovan. It has been awesome to see the final teams in each category turn their passion into purpose to try and make real change in the world.
Okay, the results are in. We are ready to announce the winner of $75,000, an Azure grant in our mentoring session with CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella. The hair on my arms is actually standing up. Whew. All right, the winner of the 2021 Imagine Cup World Championships is Team Rueba from Kenya.
Wow, congratulations, incredible work. Congratulations, Team Rueba, to each of the finalists and to all the teams that competed in this year's Imagine Cup. We can't wait to see what you do next.
Congratulations, Team Rueba, on winning the Imagine Cup World Championship. And thanks for taking the time to talk to our Build audience. I'm sure you are elated and exhausted from preparing for this competition. Speaking of preparing, how long have you been working on your winning solution?
We've been working on Rueba since the past 2 years. So the project idea came into life when we all were doing community service in a local hospital. We saw mothers coming from faraway places, walking the whole day and queuing up just to get their baby screened. And if mothers don't do that, they don't get parameters monitored, which are very, very vital to identify diseases very early. So we wanted to do something that can help them. And that's how Rueba came into life.
Yeah, and to add on, we started with a very small set of features, but then as we continued, we went through so many iterations, adding new features, making it more accurate and making it safer for the baby overall.
So tell me, how did you find out about the Imagine Cup and what made you want to enter?
Okay, we found out the Imagine Cup through our friend and who told us about the Imagine Cup. Then we decided to do more research on it. When we found out the Imagine Cup, it has been there for a long period of time, and the competition is a worldwide competition. So we thought it would be the best avenue, and for us to show our innovation to the outside world and give it some publicity.
To be honest, we didn't know we would come so far, but now it's just a dream come true.
That's awesome. Very cool. We talked a little bit about some of the technology and everything that you had to learn, but what was your favorite piece of tech that you discovered because of this project?
I think one of the best tech we discovered was the IT Hub. We also discovered the Azure Cognitive Services and also the DevOps and how we can work as a team to continue making our project much, much better.
Yeah, DevOps is near and dear to my heart, and anything that's going to allow a team to be able to collaborate and work together that way. And I thought it was really powerful because if you're implementing DevOps, COVID really didn't have that huge negative impact because you're already used to just committing code and having that continuous delivery of value. So it's really nice to hear people starting to get on early so that I don't have to convince you later to go do that, which is fantastic. So what was the best part of the Imagine Cup experience for you?
The mentoring sessions.
I think the entire journey from the start to the finish, where we didn't know much knowledge in terms of pitching in less than 3 minutes. That was a huge learn. And also learning from the mentors, listening to them and getting communication skills, all of the soft skills such as communication and all those skills was much needed, and we will continue using it in our future.
So what do you think it takes for other students to compete in the Imagine Cup?
I think the main thing that's needed is passion, interest, and belief. Like you must have faith in your system, in your solution. So with that, if you have that, and if you have the right team, and if everything is going well, then definitely anyone, and also hard work, determination is very key. So if that is there, then anyone can be in Imagine Cup and even win. That's for sure.
Yeah, that advice will actually help you not only just in competing in the Imagine Cup, but in life, right? If you can find something that you're passionate about and you're willing to put the work in, it can change your life. Being able to do what I do for a living is because I love it, and I'm willing to put in that time to be good at it, and literally it has changed my life. So great advice, not only for students that want to compete in the next Imagine Cup, but for anyone watching who needs some advice on how to go be great in your life. Just find that passion, put in the work, and I think great things are going to happen for you. I want to say thank you again so much to Team Rueba for taking the time with us today to share your Imagine Cup experience.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed talking with Team Rueba. It's so inspiring seeing the next generation innovating to impact the world. Next year will be the 20th anniversary of Imagine Cup, and we are excited for new student developers to participate and show us what creative solution they will dream up. In the last 20 years, over 2 million students have participated in the Imagine Cup, and you can too. Visit imaginecup.com for some great resources to help you get started. I'm also excited about the return of the Student Zone to Microsoft Build. Located in the Learning Zone, the Student Zone is where you will find beginner sessions to help you learn the skills required to build innovative solutions that may one day win the Imagine Cup. Combine your unique passions with tech, whether you're interested in art, games, movies, sports, or social good. You'll learn how tech brings imagination to life. From Python to JavaScript, and AI to machine learning. You can join sessions with experts to help you get started on your first coding journey or learning a new language or technology. And it's not just for students. We welcome anyone who is interested in gaining new skills. So find us in the Learning Zone and interact with Microsoft hosts and other beginners while you explore what's possible and maybe even spark a new passion.
Hello, everyone, and depending on where you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. We are reaching all parts of the globe here at Microsoft Build. I'm Allison Wines, here with Rick Claus and Jamie Singleton.
Now, while you're busy attending technical sessions and adding them to your backpack for future use, remember to keep up with your self-care. You gotta have some water, some snacks, and maybe a little bit of a snuggle with your pet, whatever happens to make you feel good. And it's all part of your journey here at Microsoft Build. You know what? I miss the petting zoo area of the last Microsoft Build that we used to be at in person.
Me too. But no matter what, we will be here for you in the studios. We are your home base, your little piece of zen during a very busy day one. Now, let's head on to the feed.
We have to kick things off talking about the Imagine Cup and how inspiring those teams were. Pretty cool stuff. So, I mean, the Imagine Cup is something that we've been doing at Microsoft Build now for a while.
Yeah.
And it's always been inspiring to see just how we're enabling these different teams of students from around the world to be able to go in and to follow their passions and come up with some really cool solutions for problems that they're faced with.
Yeah, I mean, all four of these teams were just so inspiring. I mean, I know they had to choose a winner, and congrats to that winning team, but I had such a hard time choosing. Jamie, did you have a favorite team of the four?
Oh, well, they were all so amazing, but I am a little biased with the Thailand team, 3 Protag. They are really focusing on media accessibility, and that's something my team cares a lot about. And so I was a little bit passionate about their project, but all four of them did amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I love our focus on accessibility these days too, because when you build accessible applications, it just makes it better for everyone involved. I really like that we have all these different categories like Earth, environmental, health, lifestyle. I think it's just really cool because it really shows us that there are such a multitude of problems these teams are facing, and I just love that. I think my personal favorite one was the New Zealand team with the ear tagging, just because I feel like farming is an area, farming and livestock you don't usually think about that as like a tech solution to problems. And it just seems so innovative to me. Did you have a favorite team?
Well, I'm going to say congrats off to the winners for sure that came by. That was great to see Donovan chatting with them after the fact. I mean, it's going to be life-changing for them to be able to get access to $75,000 as far as a prize is concerned. But then more importantly, that time talking with Satya as a mentor is going to be very invaluable too.
Indeed.
Now, we're having so much fun here and seeing familiar faces along the way, but our journey doesn't end with the technical sessions. So remember to take a moment and click around this digital space and explore and check out the Learning Zone as an example. It's going to be the center of training, development, and certification for all things Microsoft.
Indeed. There are so many ways to continue your learning journey here at Microsoft Build. And just ahead, we're putting your knowledge to the test very soon with another trivia question. A chance for redemption if you happen to need it. Plus, more exciting news from the world of Azure innovation with none other than Microsoft's Mark Russinovich. But now, the Pulse.
Since Microsoft Build is all about connecting, we want to connect up with you during this particular session, our global community. Don't forget, tweet things out on #MSBuild, and we're going to be looking at that stuff during the show. Now, we've been checking in with the social media to hear what you have to say about Microsoft Build sessions, the different news and announcements, and of course, the fur babies that happen to be there too. I'm going to call this one out.
Oh.
I love this one here, the ball cap. With Andrew Marco, and this is Fox at #MSBuild. Great one there.
Yeah, I mean, Annie here, you can come to work with me any day. I truly love how folks have really upped their game in sending me these corgi pictures. I appreciate it, that's for sure.
Nice. And I see also here our good friend Anna Chu, who has been doing stuff with the table topics inside the connection zone. She's had a great little movie playing here with finding your Zen during Microsoft Build. Very, very fitting. Love it.
Oh, I also love this one. You know, Derek here is really both trying to be productive on the Duo as well as watching these sessions on the iPad. And I think he means that his child might be using him as a climbing surface. Hopefully, Derek, let us know how that turns out.
Yes, you know, if I had one of those Duos, I'd be trying out that new Xbox app that we have that allows you to have the controller and the top thing we announced earlier this week. But, you know, I feel like I'm being personally attacked here by James Vandenberg, because if you don't know, James, my good friend, has been sending me pictures of his entire meal, including now dessert, while watching cloud native applications. So I'll get you, James. I'll get you.
I mean, Anna here, this mushroom toast looks pretty incredible. You know, I think I'm still waiting on that chai latte from earlier. It would be great if someone could deliver one of those for sure.
One last one here. Oh, you did the toast, did you? No, this one's with avocado.
It's a different toast.
Yeah, it's a different toast. So a toast once again from Heather. Thank you. Cheers from my avocado toast with sprouts. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
See, now I'm getting hungry. We have a break coming up soon? I hope so.
I don't know. I hope so. I feel like I might have to have some toast now.
I know, eh?
Now, we want to hear more from you, so please keep those tweets coming. And when you share, remember to use the hashtag MSBuild. If you don't use that, we won't see it. You can also drop us a line at onair@microsoft.com. You might even end up on the show. That's right, you could be on air at Microsoft Build.
Now, more innovation happening right here, right now. Mark Russinovich, Chief Technology Officer of Microsoft Azure, is joining us for our interview. This is turning into a habit. And so first of all, I want to say, Mark, thank you for once again accepting my interview request to be able to talk on Build.
You're welcome. You're not Seth, but, you know.
Well, we have to find a way that we can somehow work Seth into these kind of bits, I think. But, while I've got you here, for folks that don't know the type of role that you have and a bit of your background, can you tell us a bit about what it is for the office of the CTO of Microsoft Azure and what you kind of do in that area?
Sure. Well, as CTO, I oversee technical strategy and architecture for the Azure platform. But my role has expanded to include some teams under me to help magnify my impact and to lead some efforts that really benefit from being centrally located inside the Azure team. So I've got 4 teams now underneath me. One of them is the open source ecosystem team, which is focused on our open source foundation participation, as well as open source strategy and relationships with open source partners, guidance for teams inside the company that are working on open source technologies or contributing to open source projects out in public. I also have another team, which is Azure Architecture team, which is focused, of course, on defining architectural best practices for the Azure platform and looking across all of the things we're doing, trying to figure out where we can normalize and standardize to help improve velocity as well as reliability and quality. Third team, which is one that you've heard Donovan talk a little bit about if you've been watching Build today, and that is the incubations team, which is, as you would expect based on its name, looking at incubating projects that can have big impact on the Azure business and help our customers. And then finally, newer team, which is called Singularity. It's the code name for building basically resource scheduler at the heart of the Azure platform for inference and training machine learning workloads. So really focused on kind of large scale, both for enterprise as well as for our large internal customers like Bing that are deploying and running massive models.
So I'm curious, your discussions to be able to create the CTO's office and on these different teams underneath you, did you have to pitch it? Was it a hard sell? Did you kind of start with one project and grow from there?
It kind of grew organically in some sense. I mean, the one that the first office I adopted was open source strategy, and that one was a separate office already existing under Jason. And as my kind of the office of the CTO came more into focus as something that we wanted to grow. That shifted over to me. The incubations team happened really organically in the sense that I'd had some technical assistants, Hashi Bai and Yaron Schneider, who are incredibly creative and were coming up with these great ideas. A couple of them that have already made it out into public, like Kata, the Kubernetes event-driven autoscaler, and also Dapper, which Donovan talked about earlier. Both of those ideas came from the kind of brainstorming that they'd done early in the team, and I'd kind of realized, hey, we've got some great creative people. Let's build a team around it and see if we can foster that kind of creativity to go after other areas as well. And then finally, the Singularity team was kind of just recognizing this huge opportunity we had to support Azure Machine Learning as the best machine learning platform in the public cloud, and really trying to make sure that we can be as efficient as possible when it comes to machine learning, because there's so much capacity for these large scale jobs, as well as many enterprises deploying machine learning training inference jobs onto the cloud. GPUs are expensive commodities. We want to make sure we can drive the utilization of those as close to 100% as possible. And so that requires really sophisticated scheduling for these kinds of jobs.
Now, you mentioned a couple times, Donovan Brown's a good friend of mine. He's now on your team, which is awesome. And he's been talking about Dapper. I see that you're all outfitted and kitted up inside some Dapper wear as well. So I'm assuming that you can kind of give us a bit of a demo and show us a little bit about what's going on inside of this space and how it's going to be relevant for developers. Can I put you on the spot and ask you for a little bit of a demo? What's going on?
Sure. Well, for those of you that maybe haven't been watching Build and seen Donovan talk about Dapper and haven't been and seen previous presentations where I've talked about Dapper. Dapper is a platform. It's a distributed application platform. Its sole purpose in life is to make it easy for enterprise developers to create distributed cloud native applications. And when I say cloud native, I don't mean it has to be cloud native in the sense it's microservice based and running on Kubernetes, but cloud native in the sense that it's taking advantage of cloud services. So one of the cool things about Dapper is you can incrementally adopt it. It's got a sidecar-based architecture, so you don't have to actually include any SDK into your code, and it provides its capabilities through this sidecar interface. Now, one of the capabilities or building blocks it provides is service invocation. So it makes it really easy for you as a developer to create these modules and then have those modules directly invoke each other by name, where Dapper takes care of finding out where the target is and passing the payload to the target, making sure there's retries and throttling and basically best practices as a service inside the Dapper platform. And I've got this demo here, which really highlights the power of Dapper because it leverages service invocation as well as state store building block to create this distributed calculator application, which I've shown before.
Okay.
Now, what's different, and I'll describe the distributed calculator, what's different about this demo that I'm showing you here is that one of the Dapper components that was recently lit up is a component to support service discovery. And HashiCorp Console is one of the most popular service namespace management services out there. It's now integrated with Dapper. And so what I'm going to show you here is that distributed calculator, not just running on a single cluster of Kubernetes nodes, but actually distributed on virtual machines around the world. I've got here in the Azure portal, you can see there's the front end of this calculator, the web front end, a React app. You can see these networks, console, calculators, subtract, virtual network, the hub virtual network, divide. These are all connected together in this hub and spoke virtual network from virtual machines. You can see East US, South Central US, South UK South, West US, with the different pieces of the calculator, these microservices that have one job only, and that's to implement, divide, multiply, add, or subtract. Now, that's a look at the virtual machine layout. Now, if I go into a really popular tool called RDCman, which is a remote desktop connection management tool, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that saw the fact that we're going to take this over as a sysinternals tool. We're not ready with the release yet, but in the next week or so, we'll be releasing the first version of this, which will be branded as sysinternals and address some bugs in it. And I'm showing you RDCman here for this demo. You can see the virtual machines that I saw showing the portal up here on the groupings, server groupings, and I'm selected the front end here. And this is the React front end. and you can see how it's got this Dapper configuration up here to talk to Dapper in the state store, as well as the invocation endpoint to invoke these microservices. Like when somebody presses on the add, the React front end is going to route that to the add microservice by doing the service invocation right here. And that's going to leverage console in this case to go find the adder across the world, invoke it. Now, if you take a look at these other services, like if I go to the adder itself, you can see here's the adder, and each one of these is implemented in a different language to show the language flexibility of Dapper. This one's written in Go, and you can see here's the add function that's going to get invoked if I do an add in the calculator. Now, if you go back to the front end, I can show you here in HashiCorp Vault, or sorry, HashiCorp Console, show you the members, and you can see there, these are the members for name discovery that I've got configured for those virtual machines around the world. And then finally, we can go exercise it. Here's my calculator, and let me pull up the view here, and if I do 3 times 6 minus 9 plus 8, I'm actually invoking microservices all around the world for each one of those operations through that Dapper integration with HashiCorp Console and the service discovery that it provides built into it. So that is, and you were looking at the entire code for this distributed application. So Dapper was handling all of the kind of platformy stuff, and all the developer had to do was focus on writing the little web logic to do add, subtract, multiply, and add. And I've got a worldwide distributed calculator app.
And, I like how you slipped in that little tiny notice about the fact that you had RDC Man running, because there were people asking questions about that. So can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, what actually is the process? Because sysinternals, like, still a thing, still around?
Yeah, sysinternals is definitely still a thing. It's still something that it's my hobby. I contribute code to it. We have some developers now that are on a formal sysinternals team that are developing features for it. The RDC Man was kind of abandoned by the team that was supporting it. It had a security vulnerability had shown up in the XML parsing logic, and they basically said, hey, we don't have, it's not a priority of ours now to support a tool like this. And so I said, hey, there's an opportunity to pick that up, because I find it very useful. I use it for demos like this and interacting with machines. And so I knew that there would be a lot of interest in it. Actually, much more interest than I expected. When I tweeted it, there was a huge outpouring of, this is fantastic news. One of the things about sysinternals tools is that they're single executables. Right. And RDC Man, it actually came with an installer. It has a bunch of different components in it. So we've been working on turning it into a single executable where it extracts DLLs dynamically like the other tools. And then, of course, we're rebranding it and fixing the XML vulnerability as well as some other minor bugs. And I hope within the next week, we'll have that version out.
That's going to be awesome. Now, I think there's also some other stuff you wanted to talk about in the sysinternal side, specifically in the realm of working on the Linux space. Is that an offshoot of what's going on inside your open source space, or is that something completely different?
It's related only in the sense that Microsoft is a deeply open source company at this point. And so we've got actually 2 sysinternals tools. One sysinternals tool that's been out for a while that supports Linux, and that's procdump. So procdump is a tool that lets you capture crash dumps for processes, and dumps based off of certain triggers, like it exceeds a certain amount of CPU for a certain amount of time, it'll collect a dump, and that way you can go analyze what's causing the CPU usage. Another tool that we're working on for Linux, which we've shown public previews of, is Procmon. And then Sysmon, which is a security monitoring tool, which has become extremely popular. It's got its own community around it, building configuration files for it. It's deployed on, at this point, probably millions of Windows clients and servers around the world, including at some very data security sensitive organizations that I won't name. But recognize that, hey, as we get more into both a world, even at Microsoft, that it's Linux and Windows, let's bring the Sysmon goodness to Linux. And so we've started working on a Sysmon for Linux.
That's interesting. That's not something you can show us right now, is it? Or is that something that you have the ability to share? Yeah?
I can. Yeah, I can show you a little preview of that.
We've got about 7 minutes or so left, so if you got a bit of a preview, I'll take that.
Okay, let's get back to the demo machine. And so I'm logged into Sysmon for Linux virtual machine. Now, Sysmon for Linux, just, why did we do Sysmon for Linux? Well, for one thing, we felt that Sysmon's filtering capabilities are something that people really like. Whoops, wrong Visual Studio. They really like the ability to have fine-grained filtering for events with these very rich conditions and rule groups that have evolved over time to become very sophisticated. What you're looking at here is a Sysmon configuration file, and it looks basically exactly like you'd see it for Sysmon for Windows, but this is a Sysmon for Linux configuration file. So you can see these conditions to omit a lot of noise. So these are exclude filters that say if it begins with OMI CLI, let's exclude it. You can see another one here. This is another exclude on log rotate. So kind of background stuff that's happening on this virtual machine, we just want to exclude from the logs. But you can see lots of richness here. It's the exact same format that you can take to Sysmon for Linux now. So you can leverage your expertise on Sysmon even if you're on Linux. Now, if we take a look and over here, what I'm going to do is basically, whoops, what was my password? Can you blank the screen here for a second?
Yeah, let's switch back to the camera for other people if you could. There we go, yeah. Switch back, perfect.
I thought I had that in my
in the history.
And it was gone, so let me go pull it out. And here we go.
Perfect.
And it's whoops, here we go.
You give us the all clear, we'll come back to that.
It's all clear. It's all clear.
Okay, bring it back to the demo. Perfect.
Pretty straightforward. So I just installed, and you can see this is using eBPF, which is built-in safe kernel monitoring technology that Linux has, which we're also bringing to Windows too. We announced that a few weeks ago. Now that it's installed, and I had it point at that configuration file, here I'm tailing the syslog, and you can see that there's some Sysmon events already being emitted here. But what I'm going to do is just to show you in action, there's an ls, and here we can see the ls command. Where'd it go? These are X. It's kind of hard to read on this display.
Yeah.
IP table command, so I didn't see the ls. Actually, I'm going to try another one. ls. Okay, here we go. Well, more commands coming out.
Yeah.
So, but you get the idea. You can see lots of information here that's being spit out from Linux, just like you would see on Windows. The original file name, lots of attributes on the image, the terminal session ID, which doesn't really make any sense. So we're still cleaning up some of the config here, but it also supports file system events. So if I do a touch hello.txt, we should see down here.
Yeah, there's the touch hello.txt right there.
All right, there's the touch hello.txt that we can see. And you can see the file create event right here, which is on hello.txt. So that is a quick preview of Sysmon for Linux. And as far as timeline for release of that, I'm expecting in the next month or two, we'll have a preview up.
Nice. Now that's the concept of being able to bring some of the sysinternals tools over the Linux side of things is really interesting. And the fact that it's still under active development is also awesome as well. So I'm glad to see that you've got both some of your spare time. I'm sure you don't have much spare time as a CTO of Azure, but to be able to contribute, but you also got some other regular contributors there too.
Yep. No, it's like I said, it's a hobby, and it's a lot of people find it really useful. So it's a ton of fun to work on. And we just did a release today, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, dark mode for process monitors out today, just as one example.
Did you just say dark mode? Like, did that make the book of news for Microsoft?
It should have. I think it's trending on Tech Meme right now.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, dark mode is one of the most requested features, I'm sure, that we have on a variety of services. So that's awesome. It's coming down that way. some closing thoughts or some different things for people that, maybe or you might want to point people towards during build or things to look out for not too far in the future? We got about 2 minutes or so left here.
Yeah, well, I guess, talking about Dapper, it fits into our larger cloud native application platform. And if you've been watching Build, you've seen a lot about that, what we called codename Project Lima, which is taking the app services, logic apps, API management, app service out to Kubernetes. And our plan is to infuse basically Dapper into all of our cloud native platforms. And so you're going to see that happen over time. Great synergy of these kinds of vertical solutions aimed at certain kinds of application workloads, microservice types, with the capabilities of Dapper infused into them. The other thing that was exciting to me too was the announcement of Azure Confidential Ledger and the tamper-evident logging that we've got now in Azure SQL that you can put on top of Confidential Ledger. And that is built on something called Confidential Consortium Framework, which is a combination of confidential computing and blockchain melded together to provide this very unique capability that we're now bringing out to market, making available to our customers to take advantage of. So really, some really exciting announcements there in the Azure Cloud Native confidential computing space.
That's awesome. Now, I hope you've got some more stuff brewing up inside of that incubation space that you'll be able to share with us at some point in the future, because it's always great having you come online and give us a bit of an update of what's going on. People can find you whereabouts online if they wanted to connect up on the, I'm assuming you got some Twitter handles going on there?
Yep, Mark Russinovich is the Twitter handle. Easiest way to get a hold of me.
Now, I noticed that you actually, it just recently, a couple of days ago, you actually had a little comment there where you shared some frustration that I feel all the time with regards to when my branches and get all messed up and stuff like that. So are you okay? You got that all straightened out now?
I have. Basically, what I would do often, a lot of times when my branches get screwed up, is I would just nuke it from space, which is copy everything that I've modified out to a separate directory, reclone, and then copy back. And I thought I was cheating by doing that, but apparently that is a well-worn, tried and true solution.
Absolutely. It's well documented. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to be able to chat with us here at Build. We're going to be saying goodbye to you for now, and we're going to be going and doing a little bit of trivia.
Thanks, Rick and Mark. Quite dapper, I might say. Now, as we've mentioned, you can continue your learning journey here with Learn Live and so many of our Microsoft experts. We know that some of you are already pros when it comes to the Microsoft Learn platform, so here's a little question for you. What's the name of the tool you should use to write Windows 10 applications? Is it Visual Studio, Xcode, the command line and a text editor, or binary code? We want to hear from you. Choose your answer in the chat, and we'll reveal the correct answer in just a little bit. Now, we love hearing from Microsoft builders wherever they happen to be in the world. That's why we asked earlier for you to hit us up. Let us know where you're attending Microsoft Build from. And it's time for the shout outs.
My name is Jessica Steinmetz. I'm a training manager, and I'm part of the Toronto Hub, and I'm calling from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada.
My name is Mohammed Omar. I'm from Egypt, but I'm currently working in Saudi Arabia as a senior software developer.
My name is Karika Bueta. I'm dialing in from South Africa, and I'm a development consultant from iSolve Business Solutions.
Hey, my name is Alex Mang. I'm calling in from Romania, from Transylvania to be specific.
My name is Sheena. I am joining from India.
My name is Damilola Koya. I'm a student here at University of Bradford in the UK.
I'm Mary Ellen. I'm a senior software engineer from Cardiff City Council.
Hello, I am Diego. I work as a solution architect here in Ecuador. And I am from Ecuador and I live in Quito.
I hope you all weighed in on our Microsoft Learn trivia question. We asked, what is the name of the tool that you should be using to write Windows 10 applications?
And drum roll, please. The answer is Visual Studio. I mean, what'd you guess, Rick?
I'll up the game a little bit. I'll at least say, VS Code. I like Visual Studio Code for being able to be more lightweight. I don't use the full capabilities, which you can be using in the full Visual Studio. But yeah, it's my go-to.
That's your one? All right. I mean, Visual Studio is excellent for building these full-fledged desktop applications, though, like
True.
Windows 10 applications.
Yeah.
A little bird told me that you like to use the command line in a text editor sometimes, though. So listen, I'm not going to call you out here, but if you need help setting up a bit more powerful of an IDE, I've got some great friends who can help you out.
Awesome. And I'm assuming we can also tie into some of those code spaces things that we talk about all the time.
Oh, look, that's my team. You don't have to ask me twice.
Nice.
We can definitely get you set up with GitHub Code Spaces after this if you would like to try it out.
I'll give it a shot, I think.
I'll be your onboarding buddy. It'll be great.
Right on. I'm going to hold you to it.
I will. All right. So if you got that right, congrats. You just earned bragging rights with your friends. You can tell them that Allison told you so. Way to go.
Now, if you've been playing along at home, you know that our 3D printers have been working hard on cranking out your designs.
Yeah, it's time for another check-in with Jamie. Let's see how things are coming along.
Hello, Jamie here. Things are heating up over in the 3D printing hub as we melt some filament to fulfill your 3D realities. We actually just completed a portion of this one because some of the 3D printings actually come in parts. And Austin, can you actually speak to that with this amazing design that we have here?
Yeah, so this hot air balloon here was designed in a couple of parts. So you can see that there's different colors here. And this was done in multiple pieces and assembled together with pins and locking connectors and a little bit of glue. But you can see how we can get some different colors on a part. We have our cupcake over there, and that's done in a different way. We basically stop the print at a certain layer, change the filament type, and press go again, and you can kind of see how it's changing color there.
Okay, and some of you may be able to tell, but this was one of our submissions from earlier in the day, so we're halfway through this process. So keep submitting your ideas. We're getting some amazing prints over here. What else do you have for me, Austin?
Well, I have something really cool here. So take a look at this.
This is just a plastic with some dots on it.
That's right, it is just some plastic with some dots on it. But I want you to try something here really cool. I want you to hold it up and get it right between some light so you can get some light on it. What happens?
Oh my gosh, there's a picture in there.
Yes, there is.
There's a whole picture. There's like a forest and there's animals grazing. It's like a farmland maybe, and these are cows?
They're elk, yeah, it's super cool. So that's actually called a lithophane, and that's something unique that we can do with 3D printing. So that was a two-dimensional picture that we turned into that part using a little bit of software trickery.
Wow, okay, now this is impressive.
Yeah, it was really fun.
What else do you have for me?
So we have a couple other things that we can do with 3D printing here. Right now we're doing something that's unique to 3D printing where we can print in place and we can get moving objects that basically have hinges in them, and that's something that's you can do with certain prints that are set up in certain ways.
Okay, so its functionality is printed right into the design.
That's correct, that's correct. And with the right tolerancing, you can get stuff that wiggles around and bends and rolls and all sorts of cool stuff.
Amazing, is that what we're printing here?
So this is a different design that a user has basically remixed their own version of, and we're excited to see what it looks like when it comes out.
Hey, Jamie, I'm hoping you could give me a status update on my
So we have a few
dinosaur.
other prints happening over here. Can you explain a little bit about these ones?
Yeah, so we have a couple of interesting prints over here on the Lazy Susan there. We've got a car. We've got a really fun scene with the boat and the octopus, the robot wheels, some fidget toys, lots of cool stuff there.
Amazing, that looks like an octopus drowning a ship?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we had some fun with that one for sure.
Oh, wow. Well, that one is pretty amazing. I might be keeping this.
Okay.
I think we have a few more different pieces that we're printing here. We're still very busy in the printing hub, so make sure to continue sending your prints and files on over to us at aka.ms/3dbuild. You haven't missed your chance yet. We'll be printing designs all night long and all throughout the event. So again, aka.ms/3dbuild. Back to you.
I did submit a 3D dinosaur called Thready. If you can try to check around the corners there to see if it might be done yet or not, I'll check in at lunchtime.
Oh, I actually do believe that I see a Thready somewhere around here. Would you like to come back and check him out?
You know what? I'll be there soon. Hold tight.
Great.
Awesome. Now, let's take a look at all the many ways you can connect with our featured partners right here in the digital venue.
Visit our featured partner showcase to discover useful technical content, inspiring developer stories, demos, special offers, and more curated just for you. Search Featured Partners by product or technical focus and find the content most relevant to your business. Gain access to valuable resources from partners like LaunchDarkly, Confluent, Intel, and more by browsing each featured partner's and featured startup's unique showcase. Access developer offers like SDKs, free trial software, code, and more. Jump into the Demo Center and see how you can get hands-on with their solutions. Drop by the Innovation Center to learn about the latest news and trends from thought leaders and technical experts. And add a partner's related sessions to your schedule or save to your digital backpack so you can watch them on demand and continue to connect with the speakers after the event. Discover the tools and resources most useful to you. Check out our featured partner showcase throughout the show.
Hello, and thank you for hanging out with us here at Microsoft Build. We're nearing the end of day one, but there's still plenty more to come. Now's a great time to quickly grab a pick-me-up, a drink, a snack, an energy booster, whatever you need to be able to keep things going and stay in sync.
Right, that's because we're kicking off our breakout sessions. How about this one? Double-click with Microsoft engineering leaders. We've got Karana Gatimo and senior software engineering leaders Brendan Burns, Satish Thomas, Pablo Castro, and Pierce Boggin in a whiteboarding style session. Should be a ton of fun. See you in 30 minutes.